It's been 2 whole days, and 12 teams have been whittled down to 2. The MLQ Championship 2021 finals are upon us. The New York Titans returning to the finals for the first time since 2015. The Austin Outlaws looking to avenge their finals loss in 2019. I'm Ethan Sturm alongside Reach Marchman. We've got a great 2 of 3 series coming. Reed, what are you most excited to see here?
Well, I mean, obviously it's finals, right? I don't have to mention any sort of excitement about it. You feel it, I feel it. We're all here with it. But we finally get to see a matchup that has been anticipated, I think, for this whole time.
Yes.
No real upsets other than the fact that Charlotte took a game off of New York. They've really bounced back and played more of a game that we're used to seeing. The beater matchup is, I think, going to be the most pivotal part, which isn't new to Quidditch, I think, for anybody. But given how strong New York's quaffle game is, if the beater game can match that, you know, with Devin Lee taking over, you've got, I mean, he plays a little bit like, and I'll throw it back to Austin's loss against San Antonio, like a Williams, Daniel Williams, who was able to really take over that game. If Devin Lee can do that as well, I think that is how we do it. I think that's like New York's avenue into the game.
Alrighty, we are about to get started here in Game 1. It's been since 2016 the last time the elements had any effect on an MLQ championship match. Reed, you were at those championships in League City, the Mud Bowl of MLQ. We're not getting a Mud Bowl, we're on turf, but there has been a little bit of rain in the forecast. We saw the dew affecting teams a little bit early this morning. We'll see if the rain has an effect. I think it has done us a favor and slowed down here right as we're about to get brooms up. Andrew Canto in the white Pantos, in at the middle of the field, ready for the call. Just a consistent HR that we've seen all.
To be fair, I think I still smell the mud from League City in some of my worst nightmares. Gabe Garces having a 1 hour and 20 minute game with us against League City. I never want to remember that again.
Yeah, so. I mean, as hard as it is to catch Gabe, imagine trying to do it in a mud pit. It's that much trickier. We are about to get started, a rematch of the 2019 MLQ Championship semifinals, and Sam Ham and JC Arancibia are running brooms up. Sam Ham, as he generally does, coming up with the quaffle. It's Michael Parada that's to run a long way for a bludger all the way back behind Austin's hoops, but it is bludger control for Parada and Devin Lee. And Devin Lee, obviously the revelation for New York this championship weekend.
I mean, we talked about it so much. And it's not to say that there hasn't been big impact. I mean, Frank Minson has been showing up huge after just this enormous improvement over the course of the season. Parada mentioning how much of an improvement he's had. And his day one yesterday was just absolutely enormous.
Yeah, Devin Lee is all over on the press here. Tate K tries to make tackle on him to no regard. And JC Arancibia goes up high for the catch. There's going to be a bludger. Oh, it's going to be Peter Lawrence, I think, for tackling out of bounds. Some kind of dirty play. We're going to get the call here from Andrew Canto.
And I want to mention Lawrence. Lawrence coming into the postseason with 6 goals to their name, but in just 2 games in a semifinal matchup, Lawrence not only scored the first 2 goals of both of those games, but they also added another goal later on in the second game. And you know, accruing 50% of your regular season goals in high matchups like that, I mean, Lawrence is obviously displaying a lot of clutch mentality here.
Yep, Axel has the ball on the wing here, back to Augustine Monroe. Bludger control was turned over during that scrum on the far sideline. Augustine Monroe looking to drive on Arancibia, gets by him, but John Jackson reads the pass shot like a book. But then it's immediately Cole Travis with the beat, and the ball's going to stay with Austin. That's not going to be a reset used either to the possession. It has been this stifling, long possession style Austin offense that got the better of Boston for 2 straight games in the semifinals. They're looking to do the same to New York here. They've already possessed the ball for 90 seconds.
And don't get it twisted. Austin coming in as the highest scoring team in the league does not want to slow this ball down, but
yeah, and now Andrew Axtell's trying to prove that right now. He puts a mid-range shot through the top hoop, and we are on the scoreboard here in our final match, 10-0 in favor of the Outlaws.
Yeah, Juan Martinez mentioning that one of the biggest misconceptions of this team is that they slow ball it, but in fact, they really are just waiting for that optimal moment. The beater play is going to dictate a lot of that pace. If any defensive chasers then step out of bounds, I think that, or out of line and out of position, then they can attack. But I mean, it should just be a credit, not necessarily a slight to this Austin team, but more of a credit to the defense. If Austin has to take it slow because it's not something they want to do. It's something that they have to do.
So Cole Travis is going to pick up a yellow card here, and that yellow card is going to disallow the goal, I believe. So that is a costly one from Travis. New York's now going to have a bludger power play, a stopped goal, and an opportunity to score. John Jackson loves attacking in these bludger advantage situations. JC Arancibia, always a weapon behind the hoops. The recently named 2021 East Division MVP. He gets the ball where he likes it. Irwin is stepping out. He's going to bring his body into Irwin. Irwin, one of the most physical players in the sport. But JC Arancibia gets by her, forces his way through Monroe. 10-0 in favor of the Titans.
Proving exactly why that MVP was so well deserved. The big moments is what Arancibia rises to in these games, and you just watched it. Casey Irwin, notoriously one of the hardest players in history to drive on like that.
Yeah, and we've kind of been watching this two-man offense that Jackson Arancibia and Taylor Crawford and Michael Parada have been running all weekend. And it seems like hypothetically so easy to stop, but it's a combination of the spreading, the way they spread the defense, and the way their beaters have been playing that makes it so much harder. It's Devin Lee there that just leaps over a Howie Pace beat, and it's going to force an immediate reset out of Austin. Austin usually so good at avoiding having to reset every time their beaters lose an exchange, but that's kind of the speed of Devin Lee at play.
Yeah, and that's what I was looking for this New York team, is to have that aggression and control from the beater play to kind of press Austin into this reset mentality.
Peter Lawrence now marking Andrew Axtell. Axtell, who had his first goal of the day taken away. It's a beat on Devin Lee. It's a no-budger situation. Man. Casey Irwin easily takes the drive and dish opportunity from Andrew Axtell. We are knotted up at 1.
I can't emphasize how hard that pass is. Andrew Axtell having his left shoulder pulled back as he makes the pass, that more often than not is going to rip that ball straight down into the ground. But he's able to get that ball to Casey Irwin, a perfect catch and a perfect score.
Yeah, and when these things are going to happen, it's going to be because these are some of the most talented players on the planet. Every single person on the Austin Outlaws pitch right now has been a Team USA player at some point in their career.
I mean, it's such a crazy stat to say.
JC Arancibia taking the same path. This time his shot rims out, but because of the angle, John Jackson's able to easily clean up the rebound. This Austin defense remains compact, and right now they have brought back out the Baylor zone. Of course, we've got a Baylor announce here right here in the booth with us. John Jackson, though, in no rush as his beaters look to try to get bludger control back. It's a missed tap beat there from Devin Lee. Arancibia has it on the wing and just going to throw it all the way across to Morella. Just a lot of patience here, and that's what we're expecting to see from both these teams. Patience until they get the perfect opportunity, which usually is going to come with bludger control.
Yeah, these are the two teams most comfortable with the quaffle around the hoops and able to create time and space for their beaters to do what they want to do.
John Jackson's deep in the zone. He dodges a beat from Howie Pace. He's going to eat a lot of contact. His shot goes wide. Peter Lawrence has the rebound. Augie Monroe is immediately on Lawrence. Augie Monroe has stripped the ball out of Lawrence's hands, and now it's just going to be a matter of who was the last to touch it. Augie Monroe is psyched about the physicality he just showed up there.
I have to think with Augie Monroe's hand going downwards and Peter Lawrence's hand going upwards, it would have been Peter that was the offender out of bounds, but it appears the officiating crew is going to give it back to New York.
So a clarification on our part.
No. Yeah, it is going to Austin.
The Cole Travis beater foul that we saw early in the game, according to the scorer's table, that was still a goal. It must have happened after the goal, so it is a 2-1 lead here for Austin.
Okay.
Apologize for the misunderstanding.
Meaning Axtell has assisted on the second one and scored the first one.
Yep.
Big impact in the first
the
shift.
Chaser out of the Michigan program long ago.
Oh, yeah. Played for the Heat in the regular season.
Augustine Monroe coming down the pitch. Nobody really stepping here. JC Arancibia with the late step, but eventually Devin Lee does. Devin Lee with the beat on Casey Irwin, but now his beater briefly out of the play. Augustine Monroe into the lane, tries the floater. It won't go. Josh Andrews towing the line, comes down with the rebound, trying to get by John Jackson. A huge wrap from Jackson. I think there might be a penalty, though, for propelling himself into that tackle.
I actually think, John Jackson's right hand did appear to be on top of the shoulder. I don't know if they're going to call it as a net contact, but.
Yeah. Unlikely they'll give cards for both. So one way or another, I think it will be a John Jackson yellow card.
We're pretty sure. I do want to mention John Jackson. Obviously an incredible player. Usually, he came into the after the regular season. Oh, it is.
There's a no call.
Yeah, no call. Like I said, the hand on the top of the shoulder, maybe not enough to create the contact on the neck. But John Jackson comes in as New York's leading scorer from the regular season. But in this weekend, he's been much more of a facilitator and a defensive presence rather than that scorer for New York.
Yeah, a lot of his goals come more in Snitch on pitch or no bludger fast breaks. When he's running the offense in the half court, he does, as you say, like to be more of the facilitator. And as the games get tighter, as the beating gets better, you see a lot more half court possessions, and a lot less chances for those just no bludger fast breaks.
Yeah, and it's not to say that John Jackson was New York's only offense. Obviously, the MVP Aaron Sibia being a big part of that. They've got 5 players with over 20 goals.
Howie Pace makes a big play there, though. It is going to leave their beaters out of position, and great ball movement. It's John Jackson to Lawrence to Aaron Sibia. Aaron Sibia puts it away. Lawrence puts it away, and we are all knotted up at 2.
Yep.
But right down the other side of the field, a quick goal from Augustine Monroe. Great recognition there.
And that's a fast-paced Austin that nobody wants to talk about, I think, and that Juan Martinez is more than happy to praise this team for. So you love to see New York get that goal. I think maybe getting back on defense, the 2 of the chasers were tapped out from the beater play after the goal, but, I mean, it's a lot of hustling to do out here.
Yeah, so Jason Rosenberg and Rachel Ayala Silver now in the game. The first time we've seen their starting beaters out. Tate K and Howie Pace still manning the minutes here for Austin. It's Lindsey Morello with the ball on the left wing and back over to Jackson. A missed beat there on Jason Rosenberg, but Tate K might be able to recover from some mistake. He can, and an excellent beat there from Howie Pace to force the turnover.
Yeah, we got a fast break going, Ethan.
Yep.
Oh, no, I lied.
You talked up their pacing, and then Axtell just slows it down.
Yeah, well, Tate K, he waved the entire chaser line down. He says, we're going, and yeah, Axtell, like you said, waving him back.
Cole Travis back into the game. 8 minutes in, we've yet to see Jackson Johnson, who was a force for this team in their semifinal against Boston.
Yeah, you're going to look for this Cole Travis. A great tackle.
Yeah, huge hit there from Taylor Crawford on Augie Monroe. He's a little bit slow getting up.
Yeah, those spinning tackles can be dangerous. It's hard to brace yourself with the arm whenever you're pinned to the broom. So
Taylor Crawford was a huge problem for Austin in their semifinal 2 years ago because Austin loves to drive and win one-on-one matchups so well, and it's so hard to win one-on-one matchups against Taylor Crawford.
Yeah.
Josh Andrews has the ball on the wing. He's just going to float it all the way across to Axtell. Axtell's trying not to use the reset. Aaron Sibia is pressing high, but Cole Travis has a beat. It's a pass over to McBride. McBride gets knocked over by Lindsey Morello. Morello wins hard there and forces the turnover.
Yeah, rare bobble, I think, from McBride. She is the most sure-handed player on this Austin team, I believe, right now. Time and time again, you're going to see the clean catch and clean score. I think the angle, maybe she's fishing for something post-catch that caused her to take her eyes off the ball there.
Yeah, I do got to say, Lindsey Morello, who started this morning actually in the ER and only showed up halfway through the game, looks also a little bit worse for wear after that tackle.
Yeah, I mean, to say that she's got the guts to finish a game like this is without question. It's just how effective can she be? Yep. What kind of percentage?
Parada, a beautiful move there around Sanchez, but does end up flinging it back to Morella. There's a race for the Bludgers. Cole Travis is trying to get off Jason Rosenberg. Can't quite do it. It's a long sprint for nothing there from Travis.
Rosenberg, I mean, just really impressing me this day too. He's stepped up and played some huge minutes, and it feels like it's next player up kind of situation for New York.
Taylor Crawford trying to attack this Baylor zone from the back. Samham has the wrap, and I believe it was Luis Sanchez wearing the green headband with the block through the hoop.
It's a well-known rule that keepers can goaltend reaching through the hoop, and they're the only players that can. It's honestly very rarely that you actually see it. So Luis Sanchez, with that green headband, just like you said, using something that we honestly just don't get to see very much.
Yeah, and we've seen Austin be very fluid with the green headband. We've seen basically any quaffle player wear it. So they're a little bit lucky that he was the one wearing it there. It's a long pass there from Samham, and that is a little bit outside the norm from Austin.
Yeah, and Samham may be one of the lesser experienced players as far as playing with this quaffle team, and that can lend to some of the miscommunication for sure. But I mean, we have to praise Parada for being able to get to that ball. It was outside of the hoops, and Parada was squarely in the center to begin with.
We're going to get a blue card. It's going to be on Cole Travis, and it's going to be another Cole Travis.
Number 8, ignoring the beat.
Today. It's going to be another beater opportunity. A beater power play opportunity for New York.
The blue card's not stacking. 3 yellow cards, and it will be a red, a 2-minute uninterrupted
Yeah, I don't think we've seen one of those this entire weekend.
No, I haven't personally.
Parada bringing the ball down, a couple stutter steps, trying to get through Josh Johnson. Pass behind to David Fox. Fox has a lot of space, but JJ recovers and just puts his body in front of the hoop.
David Fox with the right play. You catch that ball, and you're already moving towards the cut. Fortunately for Austin, though, JJ making an exceptional play to make that block. It's two great players making great plays, and it almost feels like a coin flip who's coming out on top.
David Fox, originally of the Emerson program, has been in the New York area for a very long time at this point. Basically changed his entire game, was a keeper in his college career, has played both positions for a very long time. It's a missed beat there by Hallie Pace, forces the reset from Austin. And I got to say, Hallie Pace is yet to come out of this game, and she's looking a little bit exhausted out there.
Especially whenever you're running down these types of bludgers.
Oh, she just stripped Jason Rosenberg. Rachel L. Silver cleans up for him. It's a missed beat there from Jackson Johnson. No, he is going to come up with a bludger. Meanwhile, it's a swarming defensive point defense from Taylor Crawford. Luis Sanchez does eventually get by him, goes to Sam Ham. Sam Ham is looking for JJ. JJ out jumps Morella, dodges the beat, puts it through the center hoop. No, he's going to be called beat. The goal is no good.
I have no idea what even to say. It was such a crazy play. I was like, New York's going to be able to get that turnover. No, Austin's going to make a great pass to get JJ the ball behind the hoops, and then JJ makes a great move, and no, it's a beat. Every single play, if it lives up to this, I'm going to need a paramedic
things are still being
myself.
resolved 20 seconds later. One of the ARs finally ended up gifting bludger control back to New York at the end of that sequence. Jackson Johnson is finally in the game. Oh, and that is a mistake from David Fox. And, we saw a bit of that from him in game one against New York, where he was just struggling with some kind of the basic passes. Ended up coming out, and that's when JC Arancibia got huge minutes in game two, ended up making all of the difference. So just going to be something to watch for how they end up modulating Fox's minutes, because he seems to be filling in part that Mo Hagag role. Mo Hagag usually playing with Parada, but he will be out for the rest of the weekend.
Yeah, exactly. And Casey Beaver's going out as well, so both of these teams not coming in necessarily at the fullest strength.
Oh, Sanchez, a beautiful drive and dish, and Aaron McBride is not going to mess up two of those in one game.
No.
Finishes with authority, 4-2 in favor of Austin.
Yeah, one of their faster possessions of the game outside of the fast breaks we've seen. It was a true half court where, Luis Sanchez really only had the ball for maybe 2 seconds after he crossed mid-pitch.
I got to say, Luis Sanchez has really been demanding, at least to his coaching staff, time on this pitch, because they have used him a lot this weekend.
To be fair, not verbally, it's the play that definitely warrants the attention. And you're absolutely right. Defensively, just a great player. Offensively, so confident, and the passes are always on target, it seems.
Yeah. So Taylor Crawford bringing the ball up slowly. Parada usually the ball handler here. Trying to get by Sanchez. A pass into traffic is knocked down. Parada does come up with the ball. Still wrapped here by Sanchez. Can he get the ball out? The beaters, meanwhile, are on the opposite side of the pitch. And eventually Sanchez just strips it from him, just as we were talking about.
Yeah, and that's something, if you've watched Luis Sanchez play, he does it all the time.
Yeah, and Axtell, the fast break opportunity, coast to coast. He puts it in. It's his second of the game, and Austin has a 5-2 lead.
And JJ, playing a traditional keeper defensive position, even though he is not wearing that green headband, it's well documented at this point that Austin likes that point defender to have the green headband to maintain the defensive immunity from those bludgers within the keeper zone. But those shot blocking ability that he picked up from Texas and has developed over the course of the season on display.
John Jackson now back in the game. It was a bit of a rough shift from that second line. A number of turnovers. I don't think they even got more than 1 or 2 shots off.
Yeah.
Devin Lee gets beat by Jackson Johnson.
Oh.
Hallie Pace still has not subbed out. Gets the beat, though, on Frank Minson. Now it's a time for New York for Austin to press. Can New York maintain the possession? Peter Lawrence has it behind. Fires it all the way up in the area of John Jackson. He dodges a beat from Pace. It is going to be a turnover. Yes, it's gone out of bounds. And now J.J. Johnson's looking to run.
Oh, yeah, they're going to reset this play. I think it was a bit awkward with how they reset the quaffle, but I just want to take it back a little bit. Devin Lee almost with a heroic possession there, able to dodge one bludger, block one bludger, and almost dodging the second to get single-handed bludger control back for New York, and just gets clipped and has to drop. But thanks to a very timely beat on Hallie Pace, they are able to get the ball back.
Yep, so Titans do have bludger control here as Austin's looking to attack now, up 3.
Yeah, Morella's still in the game, just making sure that she's in the right position defensively to ensure that Austin does not have any more easy goals on that hoop.
Axel does have to use his reset here, and New York is pushing high. Frank Minson, though, is finally called back because Axel can just kind of operate in that area between the half pitch line. Now he's pressed up, which means that now it's going to be an opportunity for New York to make something happen. And Lindsay Morello, towing. Oh, yep.
Oh, it might be a push from behind, though. Her back was naturally
to
the field.
So they're going to give Josh Andrews just a back to hoops for a push from behind. It's not egregious contact.
Yeah.
But Lindsay Morello obviously deserves that possession off of the illegal play.
Definitely.
So now can New York run? We haven't seen them much in transition in this game. John Jackson's definitely thinking about it. He's got Aaron Sibia down the left.
Yeah, and no bludgers
here. Yeah, and it's back to Aaron Sibia. Josh Andrews steps out. Aaron Sibia tries to put a spin move on him. Andrews has a good wrap. Aaron Sibia launches one, and John Jackson gets beat. And there is no quaffle player here. Augie Monroe's going to get to pick it up. He has immunity until he walks it back in. So Minson and Lee have to fall back. But it has been a strong shift from Minson and Lee. And I think part of the issue, as we talked about, is that Howie Pace is 16 minutes into a shift at this point.
But, I mean, still so effective. That turn and beat was a 10-yard beat without any visual understanding of where exactly they are, just instincts.
Yep. And that's why they're the best in the game. And Jackson Johnson there misses a beat as well. But Austin's still trying to create offense out of it. But it's a swarming tackle there from John Jackson.
Yeah, more of that defensive impact that I was talking about earlier.
John Jackson looking to run, gets past Augie without any contact, fakes a move around Josh Andrews, shoves his arm through the hoop. A much-needed goal for New York, who had been silent on the offensive end for quite some time.
And it's John Jackson doing more of what he did in the regular season instead. I mean, from one end to the other, just a big play from him.
Tate Kay and Claire Costanza coming into the game. Howie Pace's shift finally ends. She likely won't be seen again until after the snitch grab because they do like that Augustine Monroe and Cole Travis Stitch on Peach beating pair. We'll see what Kay and Costanza can do against a new beating pair of Jason Rosenberg and CJ Jr.
Yeah, and Jr. with just an incredible play in the first series, but
Sam Ham gets into the lane and runs into a bear hug from John Jackson. We're going to see whether that bear hug remained clean.
It is a pretty classic move from John Jackson, especially with the two-hand wrap-up that is legal here in MLQ. He's such a tall
77
defensive keeper that for anybody shorter than he is, it is really easy to come over the backside.
Yeah. John Jackson's really made his career all over the Northeast, right? Started at Harvard in Boston, developed a cult following there, moved to the Rochester area, was part of the Rochester team that went all the way to the U.S. Quidditch Cup finals before losing to Boston. And now for a number of years has been part of this Titans and Warriors core that just seems to go further and further with each passing year and each passing graduating class. Lindsay Morello has the ball up top and then dishes over to Michael Parada.
Yeah, Claire Costanza caught sleeping a little bit there.
It's a big moment for a young beater here from the Baylor program. Parada back to Aaron Sibia. Aaron Sibia attempts the two-arm shot and zips it through. The East Division MVP has cut the deficit to 1.
Yeah, and such crafty play from CJ. I mean, able to create and exploit a back-turned beater. Gets the beat on it. The pass is then very confidently thrown behind the hoops, and Aaron Sibia just two hands. Teddy Costa somewhere smiling, I'm sure.
The whole RPI program, really.
Yeah, true.
Tate K creates bludger control by himself with a very nice catch. So now Austin will finally look to attack. JJ has the ball. The offense has been quiet with this chaser set so far, but they're looking to produce with bludger control. Sam Ham now has the ball up top. JJ Johnson switches to the wing. Sanchez is in on the far side. And Casey Irwin's behind. Sanchez working on Peter Lawrence down the right side. Swings to a cutting Sam Ham. Sam Ham finishes. There is not a better off-ball chaser in the sport than Sam Hamowitz. He shows you why again. Single-handedly turned a World Cup match against Australia a few years back with help from Jake Archibald, who he just beat in the last series. He has a great idea of where to cut, when to cut, and his athleticism is obviously off the charts.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, sure-handed, just as I mentioned before, as so many of these players in this finals are. But the decision-making, the speed, the first two steps, honestly, for him are just enormous and unmatched, like you said.
Yeah. We're getting to the last couple of possessions of the first period of the game here. A missed beat by Costanza does give bludger control to New York. My assumption here is that Austin will try to take one last possession after this with their usual snitch on pitch beaters to try to get budget control. But first they have to defend. They're defending a 2-goal lead here. Michael Parada looking to drive by Samham, his player on Team USA where he coaches. I think Molly Potter is headed for the box as well with a very dangerous kick.
Yeah. But, I mean, great swat. I don't think see it enough because you have that 2-arm tackling ability. If you get that first hand on the ball with any sort of force and the fact that it's a little bit wet out here, some of the ground collecting some of that water, you can dislodge so many more quaffles than
I had to ask a question. That's why.
You still have that second hand to maintain contact.
No call on the play, so 1 minute left in the period. We'll see if we get the switches that we were talking about. So far, Kay and Costanza are walking up on the field.
Yep, and we just got Aaron McBride coming in as well. So you're absolutely right about it. Claire now subbing.
Yeah, it looks like Kay might stay, but Augustine Monroe is not going to come out. It's only going to be Cole Travis.
Yeah, this is a very intentional strategy from Austin here. They want Tate Kay and Cole Travis on together to accentuate some of Tate Kay's elite abilities to trade.
Yeah, and he wins a trade hard on Jason Rosenberg right there. Take away budget control.
Oh, and CJ Jr. gets beat from real long away. I believe Cole Travis on the throw.
The beater play is chaotic. Now they're looking to score. Luis Sanchez is in the lane. He just bounces off JC Arancibia. Did that beat hit him? I don't think it did. He dishes across to Casey Irwin. A quick 20-0 run here from Austin extends the lead to 3 as we go into what is almost surely going to be the last possession of the period as we tick down the final seconds.
Yeah, credit to this Austin coaching staff. I mean, they were able to find out the synergy that they thought was going to be most effective come this snitch on pitch area. Take Cage is huge on the offensive end, creating an opportunity, and Cole Travis complementing that so well.
Yeah. And just as a heads up, we and our scoreboard are both working off of an unofficial clock, so it might not be exactly the 20-minute mark, but we definitely should be in the vicinity.
Yeah.
Parada with the ball, swings it over to Crawford.
You have to think
New York is now looking for budget control. Yeah, definitely last possession here. Beat on Monroe. CJ Jr. slips in, gets one bludger, but they are able to pick up 2. Swift play from Monroe and Travis.
And a pass.
Yeah, CJ Jr. does get another beat off, but it's just how deep the Austin beaters are sitting because all they care about is budget control. A block there by Parada on the beat attempt. But now Travis is pressing as well.
Ooh, are they going to call that?
Possible step out of bounds. We've seen it be a problem throughout the tournament.
Less so recently. I think players are becoming more and more accustomed to the lines the way they are laid out. And it might just be me seeing the field more often, but I think that it very well is, honestly. The field is the lines do appear a little more clear. Just to me, with that white line, with the orange cones being the out-of-bounds line closest to us.
Yeah, for sure. So Parada is going to be giving back the ball. I'm not exactly sure what the call is. That is a free reset behind. It's not considered a reset if you immediately throw it back upon getting control. Again, this is the last possession of the first period. 7-4 is the score. Austin with the lead. Looking to win their first MLQ title since 2018. New York looking to win their first ever in only their second trip to the finals.
Molly Potter and Morella both behind the hoops here.
Yep. Crawford swinging through the lane. He's got Parada up top, and then, as you mentioned, Morella and Potter behind.
Yeah, Rosenberg really pressuring, I think, using his feet as more of an intimidation tactic towards these beaters. But Augie just seems relatively unfazed, knowing that he doesn't have help relatively close and is not threatened because of that.
Yeah, I think they would rather give up a goal at this point than give up budget control, and that is the way they're positioning.
Yep, absolutely.
So now Parada bring it down the right side. Go ahead.
We've seen how dangerous New York has been at snitch on pitch and how many snitches they've been able to catch this season. But this is the opportunity for Austin to create a turnover.
Yep, Parada now has the ball way back. Again, we talked about field awareness, how much these teams are able to spread the pitch. This is the chance to attack, though, on the pass to Potter. Casey Irwin presses high, but Potter gets it off deftly, and Parada knowing where to be. They don't even end up using their reset there, and they give their beaters another chance at budget control.
Yeah, if I were just told about that play, I would have no clue whether that was New York chasers keeping possession or Austin chasers. They play that so similarly, using both behind and in front of the hoops to prevent having to use that reset.
Yeah. Taylor Crawford just rips it over to Molly Potter, who just rips it back to Lindsay Morella. And again, there is no rush at all on the side of the Titans.
And there's a reason both of these teams are in the finals. They protect the quaffle and limit the turnovers more than any other team in the league. They're going to take their opportunities exactly where they want them, and the play is going to dictate their decisions, not the other way around.
Another attempt, and finally going to be a press attempt out by the beaters. Cole Travis steps high on Molly Potter. All it took was one pass back to Morella, and it assuages those fears. Luis Sanchez is now way up top guarding Parada, but he's not getting any support, so really all Parada has to do is keep shifting. He does eventually get around Sanchez, is trying to make a bit more of an incisive cut there. The floater into the lane is no good. Aaron McBride knocks it down, and Austin will take a 3-goal lead, and most importantly for them, bludger control into the extra period.
It's so fun to watch. I mean, it is mental chess out there. Both teams understanding exactly what the other one wants, not wanting to allow the others to get that advantage that they're seeking. And Austin able to come out on top with a floater pass over the top of the hoops. Very commonly ill-advised whenever you have two beaters defensively ready to swarm that play.
Right, yeah. I'm not sure if it's the look they were looking for. I don't know if Prada was honestly just getting a little exhausted from the length of that possession, the amount of effort they had to go to keep the ball in the offensive zone that whole time. It's obviously not to be, but honestly, I think New York saw a lot of the looks that they wanted.
Yeah.
I think when it came down to it, Austin just executed around the hoops one or two times more than them, and that's really been the difference in the game.
Absolutely, yeah, and we've seen even some long shots go through. Aaron Sibia with that two-handed shot, most notably in my mind, was one of the better conversions for New York on the backside. But New York needs to get that bludger control. There needs to be a big catch from any of their beaters to create that advantage. Rosenberg was doing that a pretty good amount in the first, I would say, 10 minutes on his first shift. But since then, it's been all Austin ever since that Take K and Cole lineup, and then now the Augie and Cole lineup.
Yeah, if I had the ability, I would be showing a video montage right now of what Cole and Augie did in Game 2 of the Boston series with Snitch on pitch. It was one of the most dominant performances I've ever seen against two of the best beaters in the world. And if they can do that again, look for their seekers to walk away with the catch and probably walk away with a victory in Game 1.
Yeah, if you're an Austin fan, fortunately, in the Boston game, conversely from here, they did not go into that with bludger control and had to make 3 catches of bludgers to get it. Here, they can dictate the pace of play themselves without having to make these Herculean efforts to get that advantage. And Josh Andrews seeking here for Austin. Again, he caught the last snitch in the Boston series, as well as tough to see the number. Oh, Kellen Cupid, I'm pretty sure, yeah? Yeah, absolutely. We got amazing crowd energy on Championship Field. Best of 3 series. Austin, obviously, with a 3-goal lead, but if you had my my preference, I would want a 3-game series, no doubt. And JJ's going to be able to take it and score right before Snitch Seekers are released. Austin getting the first crack at it here. Kellen Cupid tied, I guess, here for the youngest player on this New York team at 22, but he's going to have to fight through 2 of the best beaters in the nation to get a shot at it.
Yeah, not getting there so far. 4-goal lead now on the side of Austin. Kellen Cupid is trying to take his chance when he can get it, and he does get a brief one here. Meanwhile, Taylor Crawford puts down the alley-oop with authority, closes the lead back to 3.
Yeah, good to see Taylor getting back into this game offensively.
A nice dismount by John Smutney right as Josh Andrews was looking to make the catch.
Yeah, was curious if they were even going to deliberate on it, but from my eyes, it seemed like, yeah, absolutely a no catch. Cole Travis getting a catch of the bludger to save face, honestly, on what was a great New York beater play. But Austin still with control. Take K and Augie Monroe now, the beater pair for Austin.
Yeah, Josh Andrews still getting a ton of time. JJ looking to make a move on Peter Lawrence. Can't find an angle yet. Finally does. Oh, it's the backhanded pass. John Jackson overcommits on Casey Irwin, and she puts it through 9-5 in favor of Austin.
Been hearing about that play for a long, long time, and finally getting to see it in person. JJ almost minting it as a signature move.
Yep. Kellen Cupid now getting some time with Smutney.
Oh, a long beat onto Sam Heimowitz.
Yep, and it's John Jackson in possession of the ball now, down 4, looking to take on JJ. He gets a screen from Lindsey Morella, drives into the lane, flings it back to Lawrence. Lawrence puts his body, first of all, through the defender, Casey Irwin, and second of all, through the hoops. It's 9-6. Now, though, it's Sam Ham looking to go all the way the other way, wearing the green headband and scoring effectively. 10-6 now the score. Game is to 130. A catch immediately wins the game now for Austin.
Yeah, no slow ball anymore. It is no longer a methodical play. There are no beaters in the Quaffle game whatsoever outside of an accidental beat, honestly. New York with possession of bludger control for only a moment, and then you've got to sell out to beat that Seeker. They know how dangerous both of these people can be on that Snitch, and now it's just a matter of who's got the hustle, who's got the energy, and who's got the will to win.
John Jackson has the ball, down 4, goes over to Crawford. A new look here from Austin. Freddie Salinas into the game. Can't make the grab there. It's JC Arancibia now in its Seeker for New York, and it's a turnover. It's a quick turnaround from Tate K, noticing he had a chance to create a Quaffle turnover, and just like that, it is put through by Johnson, and now Austin only needs 2 more to win.
And to be honest, I can't blame New York. They didn't think that Austin beaters would even look at the chaser game, and Tate K with 5 seconds to look back notices a ball carrier right next to him and just takes the easy beat and goes about his day. That's a quick turnover.
Yeah, Kay's playing an excellent game here on the Snitch. Really, he and Monroe are both doing so. It's now John Jackson with the ball on the far side. New York's probably trying to slow things down a bit because even if they're exchanging goals, it's going to be game over for them in a hurry.
A very heads-up play there. TK throwing a bludger all the way across the field to Peter Lawrence, who's way behind the hoops, and that's going to delay New York getting a bludger back.
Peter Lawrence takes the entire Austin defense, meanwhile. Now there's a scrum behind the hoops. That will be Austin ball after 10 seconds if the scrum is not broken. Meanwhile, Freddie Salinas, another chance to end the game. Can't get it done there.
Such an underrated rule, and we're going to see exactly why it's implemented.
Yeah, we've in our day seen plenty of pileups just go for a minute or two during stitch-up pitch.
Really one of the hardest things to watch.
Yeah. Salinas continuing to get shots at Smutney, who's doing an excellent job out there in this game 1 of the finals.
Yeah, these New York beaters are getting really gassed. Every beat is just so hard to track down afterwards, and CJ Jr. is just trying to make sure he can get anything going, and Augie's not going to let him.
JJ in the lane, looking to put the penultimate goal through for Austin. That one trickles along the hoop, though, and John Jackson takes it, and now he's running. Luis Sanchez is back, and the rest of the defense falls back with him. Taylor Crawford, though, is streaking. He gets the pass. Oh, it's the hoop is knocked over by McBride, and it's Taylor Crawford who wants a call, and I think he might get one.
Yeah, that feels about right. I think, maybe the goal doesn't go through depending on the shot, but Taylor Crawford absolutely with an opportunity, and McBride just, trying to get a hand out to block, hits the hoop instead, and it goes down before Taylor has a chance to shoot. That's absolutely the right call.
Yeah, so that's an unintentional dislodgement.
Yes.
So it's just going to carry a blue card, and intentional dislodgement carries a red card.
Absolutely the right call here.
Dislodge the hoop.
Officiating crew with a perfect game, in my opinion, thus far. I can't think of anything that I disagree with.
That's what we've been getting from this crew headed by Andrew Canto all weekend long. Taylor Crawford actually fakes everybody in the arena out, turns back around, goes over to Lindsey Morales. She puts it through.
Yes, you love to see it. I think the mind games of a stopped play there with a person in scoring position is so fun to look at and be a part of even. And you're right, just faked everybody out, including myself, to be honest.
Yeah, starting Seekers are back in, and Josh Andrews is actually just doing defending because it's not worth Austin to take a 50-50 risk here when they're only 2 goals away. Speaking of 2 goals, it's about to be 1 goal as Luis Sanchez goes all the way through the defense. And at some point, New York needs to put their beaters back in the Seeker game and Snitch catch be damned.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's the right play. You already heralded Josh Andrews, the seeking strategy there for it. You don't need to risk it, for sure. And Austin selling out now, I think with the beater play, going to be looking at only Quaffle possession. Yeah, right. Once they get it on offense.
Yeah, once they have a bludger. And
unfortunately,
that is going to spell doom for New York here in game 1 as Josh Andrews finally does seem to get around John Smutney. We do have to wait for the call, but a good grab will put Austin. And the catch is good.
Yeah.
The Austin Outlaws are now 1 win away from a championship. A very strong game top to bottom from the Outlaws.
Yeah, there were flashes, right? New York with bludger control, a totally different team than New York without. And I think that if they can get that consistency and that level of play that we know that both parts of that aspect, or both aspects of that game can hit, I think that's the way that we see New York take a game off of Austin. But credit to Austin, honestly. They're fast when they need to be. They are slow when they have to be. Yeah. And that is why we saw a performance like that just now.
Yeah, they're the best paced team in the world, but they also got a lot of the better of the beater game in that game. It definitely wasn't even during Snitch on pitch play. It 100% was not even. That's really been the story for Austin in their last 2 wins, the second game in the semifinals and the first game of this final. And the one game where they didn't have that edge, which was game 1 of that semifinal, was the only one that ended up being a lot closer. So we're going to have to see if there's any adjustments New York can make. But that triumvirate of Augie Monroe, Cole Travis, and Tate K in the Snitch on pitch period are just blowing everyone out of the water.
Yeah, and we didn't see a lot of Jackson Johnson, and I think that's because of the matchup that we were talking about that in Austin, it's so crazy that somebody who got them through a semifinals practically by themselves with how much
Hallie Pace, of course, was a huge part of that as well.
I just mean the one that we didn't see, of course. Like Hallie Pace was the reason.
Minutes, yeah.
Yeah, I mean exactly, just a huge contributor already in game 2 or game 1, but somebody rode the bench pretty much that whole game and was like such a big contributor of that semifinal contest.
Yeah. Alrighty. Well, I think it's just going to be able to wrap it up here for game 1. Maybe we'll get back with the desk. I'm not exactly sure the timing, but the next game should be starting right at 4:30. We thank you, everybody, for watching. We'll be back with game 2 of the finals. Austin with the 1-0 lead, 1 game away from a title.